Welcome to my YouTube channel. This one is called Now What Canes. I do have a YouTube channel called What Now Canes, where we specifically talk about college football. You know, mine's geared around a lot around the Miami Hurricanes, and but of course we talk a lot about the ACC and other teams within the ACC, and we also talk about college football in general. You know, not just the ACC. You know, the SEC, the Pac-12, the Big 12, Big 10, and other football teams as well. So we're going to have an exciting upcoming year. So if you want to check that channel out, that is What Now Canes, but this one is Now What Canes. So hey, this one here is going to be geared around more of a product demonstration, and also me and my girlfriend, we're going to be starting a t-shirt business, and we're going to see how that works out. I've already purchased the heat press from Amazon. I've already purchased the Epson 2760 inkjet printer for that, which is the Eco Tank. And that's going to be for my sublamination, if I pronounce that correctly. And so we're going to be converting that and using that type of ink so we can print t-shirts with. So follow along on this channel so you can watch and see how it turns out. I'm going to be doing some pressing with t-shirts. You know, I'm going to at least try to do some 100% cotton, see how that works out. We're also going to be doing poly cotton, and we're going to be probably doing some other textile material to see how they turn out. Of course, we're going to, you know, check the wear on them, check the fading, you know, as time progresses down the road, and we're just going to keep track of that. So I went to Walmart and I purchased a really nice stand that I put the heat press on. The heat press, we've already unboxed it, already tried it. It works real good. I actually purchased an introductory marketing package from Transfer Express, and I made a few sample t-shirts, and they turned out really well. And I bought this really inexpensive heat press off of Amazon. So I'll put all the link down in the description for that. And also I bought a really nice work stand, and I bought it from Walmart. It's really an awesome stand. So, you know, I'll have some pictures of that too as well. But what I had not purchased now is we got this Better Homes Farm and Garden desk, and it's actually a and I got it right here. Let me get my documentation on it. It's actually made by Better Homes and Garden. It is a 2-drawer desk, okay? And it has a USB charging station built in on the side of the desk, which I think is a really cool feature. The thing I like about this item here, I mean, it's going to be so simple to install that my girlfriend, she can even install it. I mean, that's how simple this is going to be. Now she's giving me the evil eye look over there. But no, it really is simple. I mean, there's only, you know, the drawers is already pre-installed for you. The tabletop is already put in. The only thing left to put in, or basically the only thing left to do to this desk, straight out of the box, is the 4 legs, and there's 3 bracing pieces that go around the bottom of the legs for stability, and that's it. I mean, I'm very impressed of what we have here. I mean, once I unboxed it, I was like, wow, really? I mean, I can't believe it that this is simple, because you know, I've bought these things before and I put these things together, and realistically, some of these things have taken me like 2 days to put these things together. So the good news is this isn't going to take that long. And of course, you know, with all the hardware and stuff that came with it, you know, you get your wood glue, you get your touch-up pen, you even get your little handy dandy tool for installation. Of course, I have my Phillips screwdriver out, or actually I have my 5-in-1 screwdriver. This is really nice. I purchased this at Lowe's, and it's really, really, really nice. And by the way, none of these are Lowe's are not sponsoring this video or anything like that, so I was just going to put that out there. I am affiliate for Amazon. I have an Amazon affiliate account, so anything from there, you can. I'm going to link some stuff down in the description. If you want to go search those, you can buy other stuff other than anything that I put in there. So once you use the description, that will link you to Amazon for that item, and then of course you can search and purchase anything else that you want. Also, have me a hammer. They recommend using a rubber mallet, but I'm gonna, use this if I need to. A lot of times you can just take these things with your thumb and press these little wooden pegs, right into the pre-drilled slots for you. And it comes with the cam locks and the cam bolts, and they're really easy to install. So I'm gonna go through that with you. In case you're out there and you've never done this before, and from what I can see up front, that I highly recommend this desk. It's going to turn out to be a really nice desk for what I think. This desk was actually purchased for the Epson printer, the one that we're going to be printing the designs on for our heat press and t-shirts with. So we're going to buy the sublimination paper and stuff, and doing that heat transfer to t-shirts. And so I'm going to try to do all different types of material, where it's polyester, 50-50 poly cotton blend, and see how that works out and see how the fading works on those. I also have some, been doing some research, and from what I found was I'm going to put the Hippo sublimination ink in my Epson printer. And I did mention 2760 that I got from Amazon. So I got the Hippo ink with that, and I got the and I'll show you the package when it all comes in. We're going to unbox all that, and you'll see how all that works. But Epson's not sponsoring that video as well. I just wanted to get everybody to see how it works for me. I'm brand new at this. I've never done this before, but I have put little stuff together that uses these little cams and cam bolts together, the little cheap furniture. Like, this came from Walmart. At the time of this video, I bought this at our local Walmart for 159 bucks. And it has the charging station on the side that I think I've already mentioned, and of course it's got the little thing that plugs into. So once we get up this thing, and you can see how easy it is going to be to put this together. And then once I get it together, you'll see, I'll show you what it looks like, and I'll show you how we plan on putting up the printer on it. And then I'll show you the really nice workstation table. I actually bought it in the hardware, over in the hardware and basic tool section. Really, really nice table. I'll show you that as well. And it's holding it real, because that's what I got my press on. So I'm using it for press. It's really more like a saw table, so. But anyway, I will show you that. And so now we're going to get started here. But before we do, I would like for you to hit that like button, please. And also subscribe to the channel if you want to follow along and watch the progress of how we, how the little t-shirt business is going to turn out. It may turn out to be just a hobby, which is fine. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, whether we make any money or not off of it. So it's still going to be fun, printing t-shirts and coming up with our own designs. And I also let you know what type of computer we have, and what type of editing software we're going to be using for our designs. And so I'll have all that, upcoming videos, and showing you how we're going to be designing our t-shirts, and see how that comes. But as we get along, now let's get our little, basically this little 2-drawer desk that we purchased from Walmart. It's going to be where our Epson printer is going to be sitting on. And down in the future, we may or may not purchase, still debating on whether we're going to need a Cricut or or one of the other ones, vinyl cutters, whether it's a Cameo or Cricut. I haven't decided yet, so I'm going to do some research on that. and see where we come out. So we'll get started, and the manual says that, you know, they recommend putting in the cam bolts first, you know, and they specifically want you to put the cam bolts in the legs. So let me grab the manual out, and I just kind of follow along. A lot of times I just grab these little put together furnitures that I normally purchase from Walmart. They're really inexpensive. A lot of them hold up really well. I'm surprised. And you'll be able to see how simple this one's going to be to put together, and how simple this one is going to be put together. And we can kind of get an idea how long it's going to take, which shouldn't take very long. Looking at the instructions here, you know, they do want me to install the cam bolts first, and it shows you, you know, in the directions, you know, it tells you basically. I know this may be mirror image for you guys because it's going to look backwards and all the work probably going to be backwards, but you'll be able to, you know, it shows how to put those in, and they want you to start with the legs first. And so we're going to install those cam bolts in the legs first. Now also, you can also see, I don't know, I think this is going to be backwards for you guys, but they are labeled A, B, C, and D for the legs, which I have one right here. And this is where the cam bolt is going to be put in. And it tells you, you know, how to put it in. And it gives you and very good, the instructions are very good on this, because it gives you, it tells you right here, you know, that no, and then you get right here on the end, you get a check mark. That means, yeah, you did it right. So this is what they're doing. So they're very detailed on this part so far. The instructions are very well for assembly on this desk. And another thing that I was going to point out is, you know, on the legs here, on the instruction, it actually shows you right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. It tells you which hole to put these cam bolts in. Of course, one is a lot larger, so it's not going to work. So it can only go in only one of the two holes that it will actually screw into. Okay, I'm not sure how good you're going to be able to see this or not, but to show you how easy this is, this table is basically a little cheap $15 eating tray table that I purchased from Walmart. So this is where I'm going to be doing my assembly, and I'm actually sitting on the couch doing this. So this is where the instructions are saying, you know, to put the cam bolt in right here, because as you can see, the other one for the peg, you know, it's not going to work. So we're going to install this right here, and I'm going to try to do it as straight as I possibly can. Let's see how this is going to work. Getting a little crooked there now, but it should straighten out. And I am doing this completely sitting down, and I'm not putting, you know, sitting down, I'm not able to put really any pressure on this at all. As you can see, I mean, it goes in really smooth. It threads in real easy. You know, one thing I recommend is do not over tighten these guys and keep from stripping them out. I put them down, you know, when I torque them down, you know, I kind of like give it a little snug, but not too much, because they will strip real easy. So just be careful when you do that. And as you can see, I'm looking at my instructions, you know, that I showed you earlier. And they're talking about doing all four legs. So I'm going to put you on hold for a second. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and insert these cam bolts in the other 4 legs, and I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm not sure if I mentioned this or not. I don't know if you can see, but the cam bolt, you know, they got this little lip on it, and so that's the lip that you actually that you mount all the way down to that lip, and that's where you're going to snug it. Like I say, don't over tight these cam bolts, because you can strip those out. And as you can see, you know, the instructions are very, very detailed. This is the bottom. This is the footer on the desk leg, and on the other end, as you can see, will be what will be mounting to the tabletop. So I didn't know if I had mentioned that or not about, you know, the instructions tell you to mount there, you know, when I was showing you, you know, the 2 X's, and then you get the check mark on the, well, let me get back over here. Over here you get the no, and then the check mark, which is good. And that's what I'm doing. I'm mounting this down, you know, tighten it down to the lip, and I'm just snugging it. You know, I'm giving it a good snug, but not over tight, not over tightening the cam bolt. Okay, and then there's another thing that I know I forgot to mention, is that when you look at the front legs, the 2 front legs is going to require just 1 cam bolt, and the 2 back legs or rear legs actually have 2 cam bolts, and they're also going to have the 2 pegs here, which is on those are let's see, because like I said, I have my own terminology for these guys, and they refer to them as the wooden or the wood dowel, but I call them little pegs. So what we're going to do, as you can see, we're going to follow the instructions as we go through those. I'm not sure how good my lighting is now, because I didn't have the lighting. Okay, so now the next thing that the instructions are requesting us to do, and so now is to glue in the wooden pegs into the back piece, which is labeled G on the instruction, on my instruction book, you know, which is the back stretcher piece. And so we're going to glue those in, and you'll be able to see. And we don't want to glue the wrong one, because what you're going to see here is you're going to see that these are used for guides. This one right here, when you got the hole, remember that the hole lines up with the cam bolt. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me pull this up a little bit so you can see it better. Okay, now you see, now this one, there's no cam that's going to go in there. When I say cam, I'm talking about this piece right here. As you can see, that piece right there. Okay, this is the locking piece, locking mechanism that's going to lock it down. But this is your cam, and that's what's going to lock into the cam bolts, which is let me get back down here. As you can see, get those right there. See the cam bolts? That's what these cams are they're gonna actually lock together. Now, the ones that doesn't have the hole for the cam, let me get this up here again. I'm gonna move this a little bit so you guys can get a better look at it, and that way you can kind of see it at this angle right here. You'll see we're not gonna glue a peg in here, because this is where the cam bolt's gonna go into, where we're gonna insert the cam, and later on it's gonna tell us to insert this cam. And then this cam bolt, and then the cam bolt's gonna lock. The cam bolt's gonna go here, and you're gonna screw this and lock it in place with this cam. But we only want to glue the peg on the one that doesn't have the cam hole for the cam to go into. So we're gonna glue that in place. Okay, now one thing they do is they do provide you with some glue. So you can glue those in place. Sometimes, honestly, I glue them in place. Sometimes I don't. But for this purpose, I think I will. And as you can see, these pegs, you know, they are numbered and everything. So and in your hardware guide over here, it will tell you, let me get to it. As you can see, it tells you, because we have two different size pegs. We have a larger peg, and then we have these pegs. And, and so you can kind of see, there's the larger pegs, and then you got the, I don't know if you can tell the difference, but you can kind of see, the large ones over here, and then the smaller ones are over here. And so as you can see, these larger ones are not gonna fit in that hole right there. So it's gonna be very difficult to mess up. And they did a real good job of making sure that you couldn't put the wrong peg in the wrong hole. So we're gonna glue those in. And so I'm gonna open those up. Let me get back over here to our instruction guide. So see, we've already done the cam bolt. And so now it's saying, on this assembly here, yeah, this is our cam bolts. And it also tells you, you know, the screw clockwise for the cam bolts. But now this piece here, which is G, because they're all labeled. They did a real good job at labeling those. And as the instruction shows, let me put this over here. It also shows you in the instructions of where to put the peg. You know, it tells you, you know, it shows that there are two holes right here on the side. That's where your cam's gonna go. And it's telling you, you know, it has a good illustration, a very good illustration of which hole to apply glue to when inserting the little peg. And on G, of course, you know, it's going to say insert these little pegs in both ends of the board. So what I typically do is I will over here, and I'm going to put a little glue right there, and then I'm going to insert my little peg in, and we're going to push it all the way down until it actually stops. So it's going to kind of look like that. See, it goes pretty much. Most of the peg will go into the wood, and only just a little piece is exposed. So I'm going to take care of the rest of these small pegs and glue these in. The instructions are wanting me to do G and the two F pieces, which on the table, when you look at the table, that's going to reference, when you're looking at the table here on my table drawing, you know, this is this back piece here. I don't know if you can see that very well, but that's that long piece. That's my G, and then these two little side pieces are the F. So those are the ones that I'm going to be gluing in. So when I get through with those, I'll be right back. Okay, and now there's one other thing I want to mention is, I didn't use a lot of glue. I don't fill the hole, completely up with glue. I just take, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but I only use just a little bit of glue, just enough to like about that much right there. I mean, it's just a little tiny bit. It's not much at all. And so that's all the glue that I'm using, and and then when I put the little peg in, and then press it down, and that holds them firmly in place while you're doing your assembly. One other thing I'd like to mention about Better Homes and Gardens, they're good about giving you extra pegs, and I'm always, I bought their products before, and I always typically end up, they always give you like an extra cam bolt, extra pegs, extra screws, so you don't have to worry about being short of your hardware. So they're real good about sending extra material or extra hardware. Okay, I have finished, gluing all my little pegs, all the little pegs into place on, all three of the, on all three of these pieces here. They're mainly used for guide pins or guides from when you are assembling the legs for this little farmhouse writing desk. But everything seems to be going really smooth right now. I haven't run into any issues. So everything's looking really, really good at this moment. Okay, now, the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting in the cams, and we're going to be assembling the legs and locking them into place before we attach it to the actual desktop. Now, one thing that they, on all the pieces here, is what they're wanting you to do is, I don't know if you can see this very well, when you look at this cam, it's kind of like got like a half moon shape. I don't know if you can kind of see that or not. I'm not sure how detailed it is, but this is where the cam bolt is going to actually slide into, and the screw, when you take your Phillips screwdriver, once you turn it, it's going to lock that cam bolt to the cam. It's going to lock it in place. So what you're going to do to start with is you're going to take the open part. You just kind of got a pointy end on it. The open part of that cam. I don't know if you can see it or not. And we're going to have that open where the half moon, or what I like to call a crescent moon, toward the hole. Because when you insert that cam in there like that, once you put the cam bolt in, you turn it, then it's going to lock it in place when you take your Phillips screwdriver and lock that in place. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and kind of get ahead of myself here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lock in all my cams. I'm just going to go ahead and put them in place, and have that ready, and then I'll show you how we'll lock those in. But that's how you insert them. So I'm going to do that in all my pieces right now and have them ready, and I'll be right back. Oh, and there's one other thing that I didn't mention was when you put the cams in, make sure you put where the Phillips screw head, where you insert the Phillips screwdriver, you can tell it. That's going to be facing upward in the board, so you'll be able to lock those in place. So as you can see, I've got the board here, and I'm going to be taking my cam, and I'll have the Phillips side of it. Let's see if you can see that real good or not. The Phillips side of it, and it's going to go in here with the open end facing toward the hole, and I'm going to push that in, and I'm going to have the Phillips head up, so that way when I take my Phillips screwdriver, I will be able to lock that cam to the cam bolt. Okay, just as expected, I have got all my my cams inserted into my pieces, and just like they always do, I had an extra cam left over, so don't be alarmed. Have an extra cam left over, or extra peg. You didn't miss anything. These are extras in case you may have been shorted one through manufacturing, or when they were packaging the hardware. So they always make sure you have enough to be able to assemble your product. That's one thing that I do like about Better Homes and Gardens product. I purchased those products in the past, and a lot of times, when the first time I did it, I was like, oh man, I forgot, where does this go? I forgot to put one. I know it goes somewhere, and then then I realized that hey, I got a little extra. You're gonna have a little extra of everything, of all your hardware pieces. So don't be alarmed if you have extra hardware. It's there it's there on purpose. Now, there's one thing that I did by not following the instructions. I got ahead of myself, and I actually put all my cams in all the pieces. So, which I know that they go there anyway. But now I'm going to get back on track with my instructions. And let me tilt this back down for you guys so you can kind of see what's going on. These are my two F pieces, and it's in the manual it's saying use D. I know all this is probably mirror image for y'all, but anyway, legs D and B, and I'm going to have the cams inserted, and piece F is what we're going to be locking into place, and that's what we're going to be doing. And I have D, piece D, and it's saying take F. Now, if you look at when you look at your instructions, you can see the cutout piece, which is this cutout piece right here. As you can see, this cutout piece. We're going to be taking F, which is, there are two pieces of F, so it doesn't matter. You can use either one of the F's. And we're going to be putting that in place. But we're going to be using the cam. As you can see, you got your guide pin. So as you can see right here, you got your guide pin. This is where, and your cam is right here. Your guide pin. So you're going to take this because of your cam. It's going to go over your cam bolt, and then the other one. Let me get it down here. Let me so you can kind of get a better view of it. Now, as you can see, it's like this. So your guide pin is going to go in the hole, and the one with the cam bolt is going to go over the hole. Is going to be with the cam. So just going to put that in. It's going to sit just like that. Let's see. And then I'm going to take my screwdriver, which is mine's a 5-in-1, and I'm going to take the Phillips end of it, and I'm going to take it, and as you can see, I'm going to turn it, and you'll be able to feel it. You'll be able to feel it actually pull, and it'll actually lock in place. And see, that's locked in place. That's pretty snug. That's in there real good. So, and that's what happened on that piece there. Now, of course, it's saying use the other leg, which is B as in boy, and we're going to be doing the same thing. Let me get this down here so you guys can see. Okay, and there it is. See, this is going to be my cam with the cam hole and my guide pin. and I have the other leg right here. And as you can see, I'm doing this sitting down. And like I said, this is one of those little cheap $15 eating tables from Walmart that I'm actually assembling this on. So this is how, you know, how simple this is. And as you can see, I'm going to put, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'm going to actually put this in where the cam goes in with the cam hole. And the cam is actually facing me, and you can see I got the little guide pin, so, you know, it lines up real easy. And I'm going to lock these in place. And I'm going to go ahead and assemble the other side, and I will be right back. Okay, now I have my my two pieces assembled, and this is what they're going to look like. This is one of them here, as you can kind of see how the indentions, you know, on this inside and this inside here. This is, you know, when we're getting ready to put the tabletop in, and you can kind of see how that went together there. And there's our feet for the bottom. And these pieces actually went together real nice. And just like that, I mean, they're sturdy like this. I'm impressed of once I locked those cams in place and cam bolts with the cams. I'm really surprised of how sturdy that these pieces really are. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get set, and we're gonna get ready to do the tabletop, and I'll be right back. Oh yeah, and another thing that I wanted to point out, these instructions are really awesome so far. Very simple to read, very easy to follow. When you look at these, you know, it's telling you the numbered leg with the piece that you're actually piecing together like a puzzle, and they're very easy to read. Like I said, this is very simple. They did an excellent job with the instruction manual for this piece. So, but that's what I'm following. So this way I don't get them crossed or put them on backwards or anything. I'm not going in reverse. I'm going, you know, just how the instructions, you know, tell me how to piece these legs together before doing the top assembly. Oh, and there's another thing that I want to make sure that you see. This is on these ones that have the two cam bolts in them. You know, the instructions will tell you to make sure that, you know, as you can see here, it's telling you like this is piece E, and it's telling you how it's faced in. I don't know if you can see that or not right here. So when you follow these, because you can put these in at a different, you can cross it over, and then you have to take it back apart and redo it. So, but if you follow the instructions here, and it's telling you which way to, which cam holes to use on the ones that has the double piece, because you got the, you know, for that back piece going through for the two back legs. If you follow this, you can't go wrong, and you won't have to break it back down and flip it and get it right. So, but like I said, these instructions are really good, and they're very simple to follow. So I'm going to finish this up, and I'll be right back. Well, I did decide to sew, instead of me doing it off camera, since I didn't do the other piece on camera entirely, I want to show you what I've done so far, because I want you to be able to see this for this furniture. You know, this is actually the front leg here, one of the front legs. And it's got that right there, and I've already got this piece attached. So, and I'm going to tilt the camera down over. I'm going to pan this over so you can kind of see what's going on here. Okay, and this is the top, and as you can see, this is the bottom. And so the way that this is going to be pieced together here, let me kind of get straightened up here. Okay, and I want you to be able to see this. Okay, so I'm going to take the other bottom piece. Now, as you can see, I got this piece with this cut out. I'm gonna flip it so I'm at the flat side. And as you can see, I got the flat side, so I'm gonna try to stay in frame so you can kind of see this as it goes together. There's my foot, okay? Now, as you can see, I got 2 cams right there. Now I'm gonna flip it so that top piece, so my cutout piece is facing towards the other cut, because the other cutout piece is facing up. This cutout piece is facing down, so they're facing each other. And as you can see, I'm going to, let me kind of move the camera over so you can kind of get a good view of this, and you'll be able to see how these 2 pieces attach. Let me get the camera up a little bit. Let me bring it up some so you can see how that works. And I have a nice tripod. It's got the gears and stuff on it. And so I'm able to roll it pretty easy. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the cam and I'm gonna put the cam in, and I got my other guide pin, and it's gonna go together right there. And like I said, I'm doing this all sitting down, and I'm not really putting a lot of pressure on this. I mean, if you see, I mean, I'm kind of like this, and I'm doing it with one hand. I mean, that's how simple these things are to put together. And then you can feel it actually pulled in place for me. I know that you can lay it down. It'd be easier if you actually lay this down and get a better angle, but I'm just trying to show you how easy it is for the assembly part of this. And so, as you can see, it is together. All right, so I'm gonna get, let me pan this back around, and I'm gonna get everything kind of organized here, get everything situated, and I think, well, we gotta put the back piece on, and then we should be ready for the tabletop. But I gotta look at the instructions first to make sure that's the way we're supposed to go. I'm sure that's the way it's gonna happen, but I can look at the instructions real quick. Because once those pieces are put together, nope, we're gonna put the 2, what they made like a H, they're made like an H, as you can see. And so what they want me to do is take the tabletop upside down, and we're going to take it and flip it, and we're going to put those pieces in place with the table turned upside down. And I'll show you this on the instructions, and this is how we're going to actually do it. So if you can see it, see how the table's up? We're going to take our H piece for each side, and we're going to put the correct side on the way the book says do it. And we're going to put those together real quick. And but I'm going to get situated here and get these things, you know, where it's a little more easy, because I'm sitting down on the couch, and so I want to be able to work a little more, because now the tabletop it is quite large. It's probably, it's 3.5 feet in length. So I'm gonna get this. I don't have the actual dimensions on it with me, but it's pretty big. So, but anyway, I'm gonna get this situated, and I'll be right back, and we'll put that together, and then we'll flip it over, and then we'll look at it and see what you guys think. I'll be right back. Okay, now on the instructions, and we're gonna follow these. When we look at this, this is our B and D, boy and dog legs, are on the opposite end of our USB charging port that's on the side of the tabletop. So we're gonna install those legs first, just like it says do it, and we're gonna have, our bolt, our lock washer, and our washer, and we're gonna put those in just like it says do it on the instructions, and we're gonna lock those down. And then on I believe this is probably gonna be our last step, where we're going to do the other 2 legs. We're gonna put those in, and we're gonna cam in our back piece for the desk, and then we'll be able to flip it over and take a good look at it, give it a trial, and I want to try out the charging port, make sure it works as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and get set up to do that, and see if I can't get that on camera. It may be a little difficult doing it by myself, so I may need someone to take control of the camera while I put those in place, so you guys can see how simple this really is. And I just want to mention that, you know, this video is really intended for a beginner or someone who's never done this before, or a refresher for anyone else, you know, just to show that, you know, don't be intimidated by this, that, you know, there's always help out there. You can always search on YouTube. And I hope that this video reaches people who will be able to take this and learn from it and be able to accomplish putting together this desk, and without having to pay somebody to do the assembly for them, and just to show how simple it is to put this together, that they could do it themselves. And also, when I mentioned the price earlier, that's the price that I paid for my local area. Of course, prices, you know, can differ between regions across the country. I'm in the southeast part of the country, so in the southern part, you know, of the southeastern of the United States, and but that's what I paid for it, and I just bought it today. You know, the day being April 23rd, 2022. So, you know, those prices are subject to change at any time, and you may be another part of the country where it may be higher, it may be lower. So, you know, don't hold me to those prices, because they can change. So, but anyway, I'm going to get this tabletop set up and see if I can't find me a camera woman that may be available. Camera woman, hint, hint. Camera woman, hint, hint. So she can like film me, put it in together, so you can see that this can be done with one person and with virtually no assistance. So here we go. Let me go round up my camera woman and see where we go from here. Okay, moving right along, what we're going to do now is I want to go ahead and kind of get ahead of myself a little bit, because I know that this is a process that we're going to be doing. So I'm going to take our long bolt, and what we're going to do is we're going to follow the instructions, and we're going to put the lock washer and the washer on each one of those, and we're going to go ahead and get those like pre-put together, so that way we're not, you know, putting this down and I'm fumbling around for a bolt and a lock washer and a washer. So I'm going to go ahead and just take all of these, and I'm going to have them already kind of speed the process up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and have all these put together for us. As you can see, I'm going to go ahead and just have all these ready to go. So when I get ready to put the legs on, you know, just grab one, bloop, bolt it right on in. So I'm going to do that real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, and there's one other thing that I'm going to go ahead and do. As you can see, you know, at the top, because you can see the little cutout right here. See the big round hole there? Those are for those real, they're the large pegs. And so those are going, I'm going to go ahead and while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and glue those down as well and have those in place. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick as well. Okay, as I mentioned, I'm going to be gluing these large pegs in, which are the guide pins, and I'm just going to put a little glue around them. Not a whole lot, just enough to kind of like lock them in place. Some of them are pretty tight, and this is where you would use a rubber mallet, and I'm just going to kind of like just tap them. And I'm not using a lot of force on those. You know, I'm actually not. And I don't know, see if you can see me over here. Yep, I got this other one that I'm putting in over here. I'm gonna put a little glue around it. You guys can see that or not. And basically, as you can see, I'm just not using a whole lot of glue. I just put a little bit down on the tip of it. And it's a little snug, so just, and you can tell when it hits bottom. You can tell it when it hits bottom. And that's all I'm gonna do is tap these other two in place for the other set of legs, and then hopefully we can move to the tabletop then. Okay, so I got my large guide pins or pegs glued into the top of the other legs. Now the instructions here are wanting me to use B and D and install those set of legs first, which go on the opposite end of the charging station. So I'll show you that in just a second. Okay, now this is my tabletop. It's or desktop. It's already turned up. Let me get the light over here. And this other end down here, as you can see, flip it, turn the light that way. This is my charging station end. As you can see, that's where the plug is. This part here is what's on the outside, and this is where your USB ports are. There's two of them over there, I believe. Let me make sure. Yes. See there. All right. So there's two USB charging stations on the other side. So this is the cable that's going to plug into a plug. That's going to plug into the wall. This is the front, as you can see. I know I apologize for the movement. So this is the two drawers, the desk drawers right here on front. So the instructions are actually wanting me to start with this end right here. Now I want to point out, give me some light right here. Okay, she's also doing the light. This right here is where those large pegs that I glued in on the legs, and they're going to be used as guide pins right here to guide them in, and then I will be able to, as you can see, bolt those legs down. Okay, so I'm going to attempt this. But that's what's going to happen. So I don't know if I can get this on camera or not, but we're going to try. Let me hold the light. Okay. All right. Now, and I got to pause this for a second, and I'll be right back. I just want to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking, what it looks like upside down, and how we're going to put the things together. Of course, you can see the guide pins again, the guide holes. All right, let me get one set up, and we'll see how this is going to work. Okay, we're going to attempt this. I got, just like the manual said, use legs B as in boy, D as in dog. We're going to use these legs to go in first. And so we're going to use the guide pins to kind of guide us in place. And you can see that, let me get over here. And so I loosen my cam right there. I loosened that up, so I was able to get those guide pins in the bottom to line up, and then I retightened the cam pins, and they're locked in place real good. So it wasn't that hard. It really was. It was easy to do. So you may have to loosen those cams up top in order to get those guide pins to set for you, because those are what's going to line you up for when you do your bolts in, which is these guys here that I already have pre-done. And so all we got to do is take a look at our instructions and they will tell us exactly how these go in. Okay, what I did was I went ahead and I started the bolts so you can kind of see where the bolts go, and I'm on the end so you can kind of see where I'm at. I am right here, and so the bolts are right there, as you can see as I move into the screen. And I just kind of use my fingertips to kind of get those in, and all I did was take and just snug them with my, as you can see, I just put them in with my fingers. And I'm not going to tighten them down because we got that back piece that has to go on. And so I just kind of like snug them down with my hands. And get this one snugged in. Okay. And and these are the ones where I'm going to use this little tool to actually tighten them down. So, I can actually, if I wanted to go ahead and use my tool and tighten these guys down up on the front end. So that way they're not moving around, and I'll have a little bit of play on the back end so I can get that back bar in. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten. These are up front where the open drawers are, and like I said, I'm on the opposite end of where the USB ports are. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten those two down, and then I'm going to kind of leave those kind of loose, and then I'm going to go ahead and move to the other side. So I got to put you on pause for a second until I can get that done, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got these two installed. I went ahead and tightened everything down on this side because the other side, where I can go ahead and put this side in and lock everything down over here on this side, and then I can tighten everything up on the other end. So that's where we at. Everything, like I say, do not over tighten these 4 bolts here, because if you do, they will you will pull out the little screw mechanism in there that holds those down, and I'll show them to you. You just have to, you can strip them out. Let me get those turned around real quick. And then I want to show you these real quick. Inside here, I don't know if you can see those or not. It's kind of hard holding this thing here I put together, but as you can see, all right, let's go down a little bit and over. All right, tilt it up. In there are little metal where the screws tighten into. So if you over tighten, you can actually force these to pull out, and then you lose being able to lock it down tight. So, instead of when you're putting those bolts in on the other end, make sure that you don't over tighten these and pull these little pieces out of the leg. Okay, now we're getting ready to start on the other end. Of course, you can see this is where the cord is for the USB. And we're going to install the legs, and we're going to install that back piece. So, what I'm going to do is, I need to flip it around so that they go in like that. So I'm gonna back a little bit so you can kind of see what I did here. So this is the piece that I put on. So, and we're gonna actually put those bolts in on each leg, and then we're gonna not really tighten them down to give us some play so we can put that back piece on. So that's all we're gonna do for now. So I'm gonna just kind of like take my fingers and I'm gonna snug. I don't know if you ever, I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see this or not, but I'm gonna kind of like take my fingers and just kind of like snug those in place. Oh, I gotta get the guides in there. And I'm gonna put these in place, and I'm gonna snap them down, and then I will be right back, and I'm gonna use my fingers and snug. Okay, what I did was I had to loosen the cams up, and by loosening those up, I was able to get this back piece in. It kind of gave me some flexibility, so I got those in. So now all I'm gonna do is lock in my bolts, and I'm gonna screw those down real tight. And then we'll be able to put our caps over. I think I might have put these on backwards, it looks like. So, but anyway, I'll be right back, and we're gonna take a look at this and see how it turns out. Okay, this is my final review of the little desk that we purchased from Better Homes and Garden. This is the 2-drawer thing. When you first get them, they're gonna be a little stiff to open, but they open and they close pretty good. You can hear them, they kind of snap into place. Get this one over here. See how that does right there. And I mean, they're pretty sturdy. And you know, of course I slammed them pretty hard. This is the top. It's real good. This table is real sturdy. I know I can't get any good views on it. Sorry about the camera angles. But overall, it's a very sturdy unit. Would I buy it again? Absolutely. I think it's going to hold up. This is going to be holding my Epson printer. And like I said, the only thing I would do is the company to relabel those. And right here, it has 2 USB charging ports. So you can plug this in if you have a USB plug, or you have your little plug. And I'll show you that over here. That comes with it, or you can plug to a regular 120 outlet. So overall, I think this is going to be a good purchase. It's going to work. And if I ever decide to get a Cricut or a Silhouette, either one of those vinyl cutters, it will also sit on this table. It will hold it. It's that sturdy. And so I think we're going to be able to enjoy this desk for a long time. So like, share, comment, and tell me what you think.